The UN says Israeli tanks forced their way into one of its peacekeeping bases in southern Lebanon, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling on UN troops to leave the region. Seung-jae has the latest.
The United Nations said Sunday that Israeli tanks had burst into one of its peacekeeper bases in southern Lebanon. The UN Interim Force in Lebanon said 2 Israeli tanks destroyed the main gate of the base and forced its way in. UNIFIL added that after the tanks left, shells exploded some 100 meters away, releasing smoke that sickened a number of UN personnel. However, Israel says Hezbollah had fired anti-tank missiles at Israeli troops who had been helping evacuate casualties under fire before backing into the UNIFIL post unintentionally. The Israeli military's international spokesperson stressed that it was trying to get out of harm's way, adding that the maneuver could not be considered storming a base. Following the incident, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called on the UN to immediately remove its peacekeeping force in the region. Directing a statement to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the Israeli leader said Hezbollah is using the international troops as human shields. He added that despite the Israeli Defense Forces' continued calls for a withdrawal, UNIFIL has refused to leave. Meanwhile, a 5th UN peacekeeper was shot and wounded in southern Lebanon on Saturday, although the source of the attack is unknown. The injury comes after 2 Indonesian peacekeepers were injured falling from an observation tower after Israeli tanks fired towards it on Thursday, while 2 Sri Lankan soldiers were also wounded on Friday. In response, 40 countries that have deployed their troops to UNIFIL issued a joint statement on Saturday, strongly condemning the Israeli attack on the peacekeeping force. The joint statement stressed that the role of the peacekeepers is vital in light of the heightened tensions in the region, condemning the recent series of attacks by Israel. It added that such acts must be stopped immediately and be properly investigated. South Korea is among the 40 countries that have sent troops to Lebanon. Meanwhile, more than 60 Israelis were injured in a drone attack conducted by Hezbollah in north-central Israel on Sunday, marking one of the bloodiest attacks since last October. This comes as the Iran-backed militant group said it had launched a swarm of attack drones on an Israeli infantry camp. The militants say the attack was in response to Thursday's Israeli strikes in Lebanon that killed 22 people and injured 117 others. Seung-jae, Arirang News.